Why was 2% inflation so important in the first place? So the Federal Reserve basically had a dual mandate. Maintain stable 2% inflation and maintain stable employment. Stable employment was to imply 3% employment, whatever. There was a magic number, I'm sure, that they had in mind. And it was basically, we're in the world's biggest Ponzi scheme. We're in a global Ponzi scheme. It is absolutely tied together. Everybody is marching with, it's like the old gunny sack race when two people put their legs in the sack and run down the field. That's where our global economies are. Everybody is benchmarking their screw-ups according to the next guy's screw-ups because we don't have any leaders, we have managers. Okay? It's just that simple. These politicians aren't leaders. These are educated idiots. That's all they are. They're there to get rich on their own. But what really scares me is I see people like Ray Dalio out on the talking on TV and on the Sunday morning shows in the United States talking about moving that number to 4%. And this is why I own Bitcoin, y'all. He wants to move that number to 4% because he knows that the United States is going to have to print. And in order to print, that is going to pump a massive amount of liquidity into these markets. And so the idea of 2% is just not economically viable from a mathematic perspective. You can't print $3 to $5 trillion a year, which is what the government's going to have to do in the next few years into perpetuity, if not more. You can't print that much without creating inflation. It's just that simple. This goes back to the debate we had in 2020 about this. What causes inflation? You had politicians saying, no, money printing doesn't cause inflation. The hell it doesn't. It does. And we're going to 4% inflation. Here's the thing you have to understand. When they were talking about 2% inflation, they'd cooked the numbers so bad that real number was probably closer to 8%, 6 to 8%. Okay? Now, why that's important is the 40-50 year average on the S&P 500 is about 8% or 9%. So if you owned the S&P index, you weren't even beating inflation. Okay? So now we're going to move that number to 4%. That means the real number is going to be in the teens. So if you're one of these people that put money in the bank at 5%, bless your heart. Bless your heart. And if you think that you're going to own indexes or funds that's going to keep up with inflation going forward, you're smoking crack. The only way you're going to be able to stay alive is to own the highest risk assets in the game, which I suspect is going to be crypto and Bitcoin.